lately I've been playing Wizard of Legend on my Switch. Over the past few years, I've come to really enjoy roguelikes or roguelite, so I'm always on the lookout for new ones to try. There are a bunch of different ways to make one. We have top-down shooters, we got first and third-person shooters, we got dungeon crawlers, at least like 4 styles of platformers. We got survival games, it's ridiculous, honestly. In the case of Wizard of Legend, it's a top-down action game where you play as a wizard who's not quite yet legendary, battling your way through procedurally generated dungeons. Before you start in, you can choose 4 spells known as arcana, basic attack, a dash, some other powerful spell I think has a name but I can't remember it off the top of my head, and a signature. These are divided into categories and attributes which matter when you pick up certain bonus items or attack certain enemies. You can also pick one relic which gives you passive buffs or abilities, and your outfit which not only makes you look snazzy but also gives you passive buffs and abilities. So you can customize yourself pretty thoroughly before you get in the dungeon, but you kinda have limited options at first. However, just before you get in the dungeon, there's this market where people sell arcanas, relics, and outfits and stuff, so you can buy them using chaos gems. How do you get chaos gems? Well, you get them in the dungeon, of course. Thus, we have the typical roguelike cycle of playing multiple runs with randomized circumstances, slowly earning a resource to use and getting new stuff to use in later runs, and trying repeatedly until you finally manage to win, either because you got all the strongest stuff or you got lucky or just whatever. If you played really any roguelite, you know how this system goes. Does Wizard of Legend do much to differentiate itself? Aside from the detailed customization of your abilities, I don't really think so. It's not really a bad thing though. It gets the basics down and does them well with some well done sprite animation and sound design to make it satisfying enough to play. Roguelites are all about their primary gameplay loop, and Wizard gets it down well enough. It's challenging, fun, something you play many times to learn patterns. I like how your loadout can be decided before you start a run, since most other roguelites I've played give you like one single basic weapon or two and leave you to build yourself up as you go along. And then everything else you find is at the whim of the algorithm. So kind of annoying with that sometimes. But this way you can find what skills work best for your playstyle and try new combinations while unlocking whichever ones you find interesting. The dungeon itself is divided into 3 sections, with each consisting of 2 normal floors and 1 fight against a council wizard. On each floor, you find a merchant along with 2 other random NPCs who can offer you some kind of new arcana or relic or some other kind of benefit that you can keep for the run, and you can purchase them with the gold you find by beating enemies. I feel like the game leans more on personal choices and customization than other roguelikes I've played, but I'm fine with that. It feels fun to play, and I like messing around with different arcana, so it's all good to me. There are 1 or 2 things that kind of bug me. For one, I wish it would clearly tell me what arcana count as what, since I find relics increasing certain types but not others, and I usually don't know which ones I have count for. It's like some of them increase projectiles and some of them increase melee. So sure, a spell might look like a projectile, but since it's not like super far range, is it melee? I don't know. It could be melee, even if it looks like a projectile for all I know. The basic lightning bolt is a good example. You know, I'm shooting a lightning bolt, so I would think it would count as projectile, but I have to be kind of close. So is it melee? I know the wind blade thingy, I know that counts for melee, because that one's kind of obvious, but does the lightning bolt? Maybe I'm missing a stat sheet somewhere, but I'd appreciate there being at least a little tag in the description, like this is a melee spell or something, because I don't want to pick up an item that just ends up helping like one thing. Also, sometimes it just feels like there's too much of a wind up for spells, and it makes me get caught by enemies, and it's some sort of really annoying loop. But maybe that's just my Switch controllers being weird, so that's probably not on the game itself. The last thing, I wish there would be more health drops. They barely ever seem to show up. I even equipped a relic to drop more health pickups, but they still barely show up. Maybe that's just because I'm not very good at the game right now. I'm not sure. I feel like more practice will make this less of an issue, but I don't know, it feels like it'd be nice if there was an option, but I guess they want to keep the challenge intact. Overall, Wizard of Legend is another decent roguelite, whatever you want to count it as, with a fun, arcadey action gameplay loop with lots of fun for experimentation. Presentation is nice, it makes combat satisfying. I like the different robes and relics giving you passive buffs, and the wide variety of arcana is fun, so like you can mess around and just kind of find what you like. Personally, I really like playing with the lightning ones because it's fun to zip around the arena. Usually when it comes to roguelites, I look for games like this, so take that as you will. I won't say it's anywhere close to Enter the Gungeon in my mind, but that's kind of unfair because I put like 200 hours into that game. Maybe I should go play it some more.